Thank you for coming to this talk, and thank you TUG for organising this conference. I'm most grateful to both of you. This talk is about learning LaTeX. It's about helping beginners. I was a beginner once. In 1989 I bought a copy of the tech book and learnt tech. I've 30 years experience of being a tech user. Since about 1990 I've been a member of a user group. I've been past chair of UK TUG and past board member of TUG. I'm now retired and pursuing my interest in mathematical research. A few words about this talk. I look at 4 websites, all of which offer learning resources. They are 1. Trinket.io, which is loosely associated with the Raspberry Pi Foundation. 2nd, my own LaTeX typing tutor. 3rd, the LaTeX 3 projects learnlatex.org. And finally, math.stackexchange. All of these sites offer learning resources for people who want to learn LaTeX. They do it in different ways, for different purposes at different levels. For me, the important level is the complete beginner, somebody who knows nothing about LaTeX perhaps except the name, and who wants to do something quite simple, such as put an equation onto a math page. In fact, I'm interested in people who want to post onto math.stackexchange and want a place where they can develop their skills and learn their skills and share things. So what this talk really is about is learning journeys. A learning journey consists of lessons and exercises, and if it's being done through a website, then there's a user interface and a user experience. The interface is programmed, but the experience is a softer thing. It's a question of expectations and those sorts of things. It's what makes the website pleasant and easy to use. So if you know about these things, 2 important concepts will be user interface, which I've already mentioned, and user experience. They're both important today in web development. So next up, there will be screencasts of the 4 sites. I'll remind you: Trinket.io, LaTeX typing tutor, learnlatex.org, math.stackexchange. During these screencasts, I'll speak, but you won't see me. I'll reappear at the end of the talk for a summary. Well, this is the conclusion. Thank you for bearing with me. We've been on a journey entirely browser-based, going from quite simple things like 2 + 2 = 4 and fractions and that sort of stuff, all the way to some quite complicated and deep mathematics. And it's all browser-based, using LaTeX markup and MathJax typesetting. It will even work on your mobile phone. I've tried it. And nothing to install, and always the latest version of the software. Lots of advantages. I'm not saying there aren't disadvantages, but let's take what we can. So I find the situation promising and encouraging. There's a chance for new life here. And here are 3 examples of why I'm encouraged. Well, Trinket, which is widely used, supports HTML, CSS, JavaScript and Python. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if they supported LaTeX as well? So I wrote to them in June, suggesting that they do just that, and talking about my experiments, and we had a nice conversation. But the thing is, they replied and said, we've already got an experimental implementation. I don't know where it'll go, but if we encourage them, and if there's a real benefit in they're doing it, perhaps they'll do it. So that's a real target. If we can get LaTeX as an equal or a peer of JavaScript and Python in the schools, so that it's just as easy for teachers to deal with LaTeX as it is with Python, then wouldn't that be a big plus? The second is Jim Carson's Mini LaTeX, which he's talking about later in this conference, which deals with whole documents and generates PDF via LaTeX. So we're seeing the beginnings of a bridge that goes from very simple browser-based stuff all the way through to the big documents. And if that bridge works well, won't it be wonderful? Wouldn't it be wonderful if the experience we had on the web page and the experience we had on print were in some sense closely linked? Now, the third thing that I find promising is that Math.StackExchange has a thriving community of MathJack users, and they're already producing good online documentation about the system. I was very surprised to find that, and very, very pleased. And I think one of my first steps after this conference will actually be to contact some of those people and ask what they think about things, and can we work together perhaps? So I find the whole thing quite promising. And here's something else I find quite promising, which is actually looking for LaTeX where you expect to find it, which is what I did with Trinket. And when it's not there, or when it is there, getting in touch with people. There's a lot that can be done in that way, just making connections. So I'm going to see what we can do in that way, and perhaps we can join the MathStackExchange community or form a community of our own. But this whole idea of being able to use LaTeX in an entirely browser-based way is, I think, very, very attractive. Now, many people are using LaTeX and MathJax as part of other software systems. I'm thinking particularly of Jupyter notebooks. There are others, but I won't list them here. Let's spend more time with all these people who are using tech along with other tools and see what we can do to improve their tech experience. Often they're using tech as a back-end system, which we're going to hear about several times in this conference. Who knows? We might learn something from them. Finally, I'd like to thank you for listening to my talk and persevering to the end. And I'd like to thank the Tech Users Group and the people who have been running this conference for putting all the effort in and making it work. And finally, I'd like to thank Don Knuth, who devoted several years of his life to producing one of the finest pieces of software I know. And he has originated the community. We should be celebrating and experience gratitude for what's happened before. So, have a good conference. Thank you for listening to my talk and keep safe. Goodbye.